What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. This is a discussion on the recently announced Steam Deck. This is Valve's answer, somewhat I guess, to the Nintendo Switch, but also their next foray into hardware, because Valve has a little bit of a history when it comes to challenging whatever is on the market with their own PC-like devices. They did it before with the Steam box against the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now they're doing it now at this point with the Steam Deck, which is a Nintendo Switch-like type of PC hybrid. And I wanted to go over the system itself and the options that you have. Pre-orders will be starting today at 10 a.m. PT time. I think I'm definitely going to pick it up for a review just so we can do a compare and contrast. But ultimately, I wanted to talk about this because so many people are making comparisons if this can knock off the Switch or if it's even going to be close to it when it comes to certain things on the market. And to be honest, after looking over everything here, which I'm going to analyze here with you guys, it really seems like this is for a separate market, and I don't really think it's going to have an effect on the Nintendo Switch itself at all, based off of what we have here. So let's first go over the information. I'm going to be reading directly off of the Steam Deck site from Valve. So they say the Steam Deck is the most powerful full-featured gaming handheld in the world. We partnered with AMD to create Steam Deck's custom APU optimized for handheld gaming. It's a Zen 2 plus RDNA 2 powerhouse, delivering more than enough performance to run the latest AAA games in a very efficient power envelope. Now let's talk about the comfort and the look of it. It looks like a Sega Game Gear, if you want me to be honest, and it actually looks pretty ugly when it comes down to the screen and everything, in my opinion. Just looking at it right here, it doesn't look as sleek or as stylish. It looks really bulky, but I'm pretty sure that it's comfortable to hold just based on the ergonomics of what I've seen from the controller. But it definitely seems a bit like big and ugly, but that's just my opinion on it. So they did say that the Steam Deck was built for extended play sessions, whether you're using the thumbsticks or trackpads, with full-size controls positioned perfectly within your reach. The rear of the device is sculpted to comfortably fit a wide range of hand sizes. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the ergonomics of it. Now, it does have a 7-inch touchscreen. It says you can type, swipe through the Steam UI with Deck's capacitive multi-touch display. It also has trackpads on there. You can play PC games that were never designed to be handheld. With the increased precision, trackpads also give you a competitive edge when playing a fast-paced first-person shooter games. And there's also gyro. They have analog triggers that provide a full range of input for the best experience, especially in driving games. So that's good. That's something that people have complained about when it comes to Nintendo Switch not having those. Now, before we get into the storage and pricing options, I do want to go over some of the other specs with this here. So it has hi-fi audio. The Stream Deck stereo speakers pack a punch. An embedded DSP provides clarity and a wide soundstage for an immersive listening experience. Connect your favorite headset or use an onboard dual microphone to chat with your friends. It also has a 40-watt battery. Steam Deck's onboard 40-watt-hour battery provides several hours of playtime for most games. For lighter use cases like game streaming, smaller 2D games, or web browsing, you can expect to get the maximum battery life of approximately 7 to 8 hours. It seems like the bigger AAA games, if you want to play those, at the best possible ability on this, it's probably going to last a couple hours on that because it's a 40-watt battery. So, I mean, that's not bad. And yes, for smaller 2D games and everything, but you can probably get with the highest end PC games, maybe 2 to 3 hours with this battery. I would be surprised if it actually hit 4 hours. But that's not bad when it comes down to it. At the end of the day, this type of stuff is not easy to do, especially with big PC games. There's also wireless, and there's also fast suspend and resume. I want to talk about the fast suspend and resume. It says we've built a quick suspend resume feature into Steam OS. Press the power button and Steam Deck will suspend your game and go into sleep mode. Push the power button again and will wake up right where you left off. So there's also that. There is an expandable micro SD card slot, so that's very good. All models of the Steam Deck support expanding your storage via micro SD cards. Games stored on a micro SD will appear in your library instantly. Now, let's talk about that just a little bit, because there are some other things with this. You can use this Stream Deck as a PC itself, so you can kind of dock it and use it as that, but that's also another thing when it comes to the dock and everything like that. So they did state, we can start there, they did state that there is a dock with this, but they haven't listed the price of the dock yet, and they haven't stated when the dock will be available. And they will be shipping out this December, but the dock doesn't seem to be making the launch period of this, but we're gonna have to wait on that. Here's what they had to say about the dock. The official dock props up your Steam Deck while connecting to external displays, wired networking, USB peripherals, and power. You can also use a powered USB hub if you've got one lying around. So there is an official dock, but if you have a powered USB hub, you can use that as well. And it should work if you have one, you know, so it should work. So that's good for those who already have one. But yeah, their official dock, you know, if you're just going from ground zero, there's not information just yet. They said the official dock will be sold separately. More information coming soon. So let's talk about this, because now we get to the actual meat and potatoes. So what models or configurations are they doing, and what is the price going to be on that, and what do you get for each one? Because there are 3 models with this. You have 3 storage options. All of them internals wise are the same when it comes to the power of the system, but the storage is different and it will affect games based on that. So there is no in-game difference in frame rates or graphics quality between the 3 models. They made sure to officially state that. So you have the $399 model, which gives you 64 gigabytes. So you have 64 gigabytes of eMMC internal storage, and you get a carrying case. So remember, all PC games, all Steam games, all of them have to install on this. There's no physical games or anything like that, so you have to install everything. So for many people, 64 gigabytes might not even be able to install their favorite PC game at this point. So you're gonna have to use a SD card or get something else with it, you know, since there isn't that actual physical game option. Now, next up is the $529 model. That is 256 gigabytes, and what that gets you is 256 gigabytes of NVMe SSD internal storage. So that is better quality and faster than the 64 gigabyte model. Faster storage, carrying case, exclusive Steam community profile bundle. And then the premium bundle, which is the one that I'm looking at here, is $649. It's 512 gigabytes of NVMe SSD internal storage, which is the fastest storage option that they do have out of the 3 here. Premium anti-glare etched glass, exclusive carrying case, exclusive Steam community profile bundle, exclusive virtual keyboard theme. So all of that combined, you know, if you want the best model here, the 512, because, you know, PC gaming, that SSD, that's kind of what it's about, you are going to have to drop $649 before the tax kicks in on that one. So that's going to be about $700 here in California when it comes to tax. So it's definitely something that is a bit pricey, and that's what I want to discuss at the end of the day compared to the Nintendo Switch. This doesn't really seem to me, based off of what they've shown off here, the fact that the dock does come separate, the fact that this is going to be something to where really it's targeting people that already have that strong library of PC games, and they just want to be able to take that on the go with a powerful handheld. When it comes to the resolution and the screen type, it's about 800p on the screen when it comes to resolution, and it's an LCD screen. So not bad options there, but definitely cost-effective options. And it makes sense when you're trying to get a system that doesn't run at a really high wattage and keep the battery life intact. These are the type of things that you need to do, especially with the resolution type of stuff. So it makes sense there. But I wanted to kind of go more in depth with this because I don't feel that this device is really going to be a big threat or really going to be something that's in competition directly with Nintendo. It's too much of a, I would say, guided type of device. This is really targeting those hardcore PC gamers that already have all these different Steam games and maybe want an option. And secondly, the price of the system is just a bit too high. If you're talking about just a portable by itself with nothing else, not even including the dock, it's double the price of the Nintendo Switch Lite. So Nintendo Switch Lite is $200. This is $400. Now, if you're talking about having it with the regular Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch OLED, the regular Nintendo Switch is $299 and it comes with the dock. This is $400, so it's $100 more without even a dock, unless you have some type of USB power type of hub that you can get or whatever the case is. Most of the core gamers are going to want more than that 64 gigabytes, and they're going to want the better SSD if you're doing PC type gaming on the go. So the $529 option and $649 option, those aren't necessarily consumer friendly type of prices at the end of the day. They're just not. It's cool for the core gamers, and like I said, I want to maybe pick up one for a review and comparison and all that. I think it's a cool idea, do not get me wrong. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of all digital and everything, but I still think that it's a cool idea. I just see this as a different market, and the market that I kind of put it in, I kind of put it in the same market as, let's say, the GD Win. That is a portable PC handheld type of device, high-end, more expensive when it comes down to it, if you want to have those PC games on the go. So I kind of put it in competition with that, and the Switch is a completely different type of thing with its first-party games and what it does over there, Nintendo's marketing and the price that it has. But I think out of anything, when you look at this Steam Deck, it kind of shows you how difficult it is to create a powerful handheld device for a good price without having to have certain type of things to where you have to expand or spend a lot more on something. Because I think with this device, the biggest thing here is the SSD memory. I mean, there are pretty big jumps, right? It goes from 529 to 649 from simply doubling the memory there. So that goes to show you kind of how difficult it is to get these prices with good internal, faster type of memory, right? So just keep that in mind when you're talking about other types of things. It's not easy to do, but it does kind of provide that Switch Pro that some people were looking for. And if you want to drop the cash for it, you can definitely do so. I've always been a fan of people kind of spending on what they want to. If you think it's something that you're going to like based off of what you hear, definitely check it out. But I personally don't feel that this is some type of Switch killer or it's really going to interfere with what the Switch is doing. I think there's going to be a lot of people that maybe already have a PC and a Switch and want to get this anyway. And I think there's going to be people that say, hey, maybe I'll try it out at the lowest option or the mid option or whatever the case is. Either way, more options is always good. And I definitely think that Nintendo's like, okay, they're doing what they're doing there. Let's see what it does. But I'm not sure if it's going to affect what Nintendo's doing or their plans that they have for whatever's next when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. But once again, it's good that there's competition, or at least perceived competition in the market. And I'm down to see where this goes for Valve and the Steam games on the go. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to the Steam Deck? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.